My favourite person in the world is on the news again. He makes me so happy. I love Big Humza Useless. I love him. He's just such a cheery chappy that wants nothing but the best for Pakistan, Scotland. He wants nothing but the best for Scotland. Humza Yousaf's family drops discrimination case against the nursery. Now, this was quite a funny incident that happened because one thing that Humza Yousaf will do with everything bad that happens to him, if you question his policies, if you don't want to vote for the SNP, if he stubs his toe in the morning, Hamza will blame racism every time. Every single time. Didn't get a toy in your cereal box? Racism. Must be racism. People must have done that because I'm brown. He blames it for everything. He doesn't self reflect. And he thinks the reason everybody hates him is because they're racist. It's not that, Hamza. It's just you are just an awful person. You're an awful, terrible, authoritarian, fascist piece of shite. Yeah, you just are. However, and so he tried to get his children put into a nursery. And they were rejected. And Hamza, of course, cried racism. They're only doing that because my children are brown. But was it though? Let's read further. Scotland's Health Secretary has dropped a 30,000. He used to be a Justice Minister, but then he was quietly pulled out of that job because he did such an awful fucking job. He's now been put into Health Secretary during COVID, where he's done an awful fucking job. I think he's getting ghosted around in positions where everyone knows that he'll take all the blame for all the shit that's going to go wrong until they eventually boot him out the party. He's dropped a £30,000 case against a nursery he accused of discrimination. Humza Yousaf and his wife, counsellor Nadia Nakla, claimed that, oh, she got a job as a counsellor. That's amazing. That's weird. I mean, it's just, you know, what's that? What's it called again? Nepotism. That's what it's called. Claimed to being told there was no space for their daughter at Little Scholars in Broughty Ferry. The alleged applicants with white Scottish sounding names were accepted. I have to say that in the manner of Humza Yousaf. White. You need a little bit of vitriol behind it to get that, really make the hatred come across. Were accepted, a claim that the nursery has denied. The couple's legal representative confirmed court proceedings had ceased. A legal writ had been lodged at Glasgow Sheriff Court in November of 2021. Followed the Care Inspectorate upholding a formal complaint made by Mr Yousaf and Miss El Nakla, who was elected as an SNP councillor in Dundee last year. The body found that the nursery did not promote fairness, equality, and respect when offering placements. In response to the legal case, the body found that the nursery did not promote fairness, equality, and respect. Interesting. In response to the legal case being dropped, Little Scholars Day nursery owner Usha Foudwar, that's a strange name. It's a strange name for someone that only wants white people. Only wants white people in their nursery. Usha Foudwar? Usha Foudar, even? The plot thickens a little bit here. This doesn't sound... That's not a Scottish name. Curious. Let's keep reading. Miss El Nakla has very sensibly... Wait, Miss El Nakla, is she not even taking his name? Nadia El Nakla, is she not even taking Humza's name? Funny, but to be expected. In response to the legal case being dropped, Little Scholars Day nursery owner Usha Foudar said Miss El Nakla has very sensibly opted to drop her legal action in the face of our determination to defend ourselves and our hard-working employees. While I'm pleased our employees will be spared the stress of appearing as witnesses, in one sense I'm also disappointed, as the court case would have been extremely revealing and I'm utterly confident that we would have prevailed. Despite this vindication, it has been deeply upsetting to have spent almost 18 months and tens of thousands of pounds defending our small nursery against their false claims. A statement issued on behalf of Miss El Nakla and Mr. Yousaf said that the legal proceedings were halted following discussions with Sword Nursery Limited, the firm that owns the nursery. The couple's legal representative, solicitor Amer Anwar, said they only ever wanted the nursery to accept the findings of the Independent Care Inspectorate investigation and for the nursery to make changes. The nursery's owner may wish to say that they were prepared 100% to go to court, but this was a joint agreement reached on their acknowledgement of the findings of an independent investigation and implementing the necessary changes in full. He added that Nadia believes that as a mother, she was justified in raising this legal action. She felt deeply hurt and hopes that as a result, real change will take place. Real change at the nursery. Real change at the nursery. I'll save it for the end. Following the initial concerns from Mr. Yousaf and his wife, a daily record investigation submitted applications with identical requirements to the nursery under the names Aksa Akhtar and Susan Blake. The newspaper said that Aksa Akhtar had her application rejected, but Susan Blake's was accepted and offered spaces. Miss El Nakla said that she had emailed nursery bosses in May 2021 asking if there were any available places. The couple alleged they were told there were no available spaces in the nursery. The second time they said that they had been turned down. But they claimed that 2 days later, when a white friend asked if there were places for her 2-year-old son, the nursery told her that places were available on 3 afternoons a week. Now, one thing, as someone who has kids in nursery, sometimes people just pull out. 2 days later, a space literally could have opened up during that time. That's what happened. That's how we got into our current nursery. We called them, there was no spaces, but they said keep calling back. Sometimes people pull out. Called again about like 4 or 5 days later. There was a space. So I'm saying it maybe could have been that. Because the racism angle, well, we'll save it for the end. But they claimed it too. I've just read that one. In August 2021, the Little Scholars Day Nursery said that any claim that it was not open and inclusive to all was demonstrably false. Now, one of the things is, I know for a fact what Humza Yousaf was expecting. Scotland is still 96% white. It's got to go. Anyway, but but Scotland's still 96% white, so if you're on the phone to someone or anything like that, it's safe to assume that you're talking to a white person. Or if your child gets rejected from a nursery, you can be fairly sure that the person who runs the nursery was a white person, and you get to say, my brown children were rejected, and these terrible, awful people are racist, and they were only taking in white people. And then it was revealed that the owners that ran the nursery were Sri Lankan. So, it wasn't racism, was it, Humza? I think what's happened is you've been a little bit cheeky. You've realised that your court case isn't going to go anywhere, and you've hired this independent body to do a survey of the nursery, who, by the way, work for the Scottish government. You know, those people that Humza is in charge of, and they've created some findings. But I mean, Humza, you could have sued them for all kinds of discrimination. At least maybe you could have if they were white, but it turns out that they weren't, and it turns out that there most likely was no racism at all whatsoever, and you just completely embarrassed and humiliated yourself. Which, to be honest, man, you know, might have cost the nursery tens of thousands of pounds, but I think it's worth it.